What's going on, world? How y'all doing? This is Prophet E. It's 4 o'clock in the morning on Friday, June the 12th, 2020. I haven't recorded any videos here in a little while, and really the reason is just been discouraged, and I've been walking on this journey for 132 days, and I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared for the loneliness. I wasn't prepared for the lack of support. I thought for sure, that when I devoted my life to the Lord and to the plans of God, that um, I would have support. Because why? Because all my life I've been a supporter of people. I've been a supporter of ministries. I've been a supporter of people that have heard from God to make a move, and they made a move, and so I've supported. But those same people have been nowhere there to be found in my life, and on this journey of faith and restoration for the world. And so I've been discouraged, and everything that I speak is being spoken directly from the Spirit of God, which is given me to speak to your hearts. And so to sit there and pour out, and you don't even know if anybody's receiving it. I know I'm lost behind algorithms and things like that on social media, but I know that people are seeing these videos. I know that people are seeing the messages, and if you have seen the messages and if it's blessing you, then like a message, comment, make a comment and say it's blessing you. That goes a long way in restoring my faith in what God is doing for the world. And so it's not about me, it's about God using a broken man. He restored me for his purposes for the world, to come into these dark places, to reach into the pits of despair, to pull you out of the pits, to get heaven into your hearts. Despite what you're going through, despite what you're dealing with, despite what you've done, there's hope for you. Jesus died so you may have life, and life more abundantly, and that starts right now. You were created for a purpose. What is your purpose? We need to plug you into your purpose in order for the world to truly be the world that God purposed for it to be from the foundation of the earth. You have to play your part. What is your role in the purpose progress um, um, of life? And that's what you need to find out. I've figured that out. And the only reason that I was able to find that out is because I laid my life on the line. I submitted myself. On February 1st, I said, okay, God, you told me this is what you wanted me to do. You wanted me to fast. So I went on a fast. My fast lasted for 29 days. My life was totally transformed in the 29 days. Everything changed. I saw different. I heard different. I thought different. I'm a new man. The person that you once knew he no longer exists. My wife no longer recognizes me. I don't recognize myself. My speech is different. My own mother who birthed me no longer recognizes me. That is the transformation of God. That's what God will do in your life. When he says that he will renew a right spirit in you, it's his spirit that will be right inside of you, and there is no better place. Everything changes. You will not, you can't wallow in those same places and claim to be renewed. You can't sit there and in the same places of your past, in those same fears, in those same regrets, and hang on to those same stories and focusing on those things of your suffering, and not looking at the fact that God delivered you, that he healed you, that he restored you. So come out of those things, move forward into your purpose. What is your purpose? You have to be purpose driven. This is the season. This is the time. I didn't ask for this. This is painful. This is one of the most painful um, journeys that I've ever been on in my life, but it's also been one of the most freeing journeys of my life. And the thing about it is, I haven't done anything. I've only submitted for the last 132 days. Went on a faith journey to Georgia that lasted 25 days that changed my life. And when you hear about the whole story and the racial climax and everything that I had to endure while on that journey, not knowing that God was only preparing me for things that were about to happen in the world, that He had also told me and gave me forewarning to go warn these pastors about what was to come. But everybody shut me down. Everybody dismissed me because they thought I was crazy. Come on, that's the problem with the church, dismissing people. You want people to come in. You want people to say, "Oh, come in. I'm broken. You come to this place. This is a hospital. You get restored." But then people come and they say, "Look, I'm broken, and this is what I'm dealing with," and then you shun them. "Oh, I'm sorry. We can't help you here. That's too much. That's too bad. Oh, let me hold on to my wallet because you might try to steal from me." No, that's the problem. This is why God changed my life, to be able to go back into these places and bring restoration and order. Come on. I was raised not only in the church, but I was raised from in a family of people who are not just ministers, but doctors and teachers and things like that. But that has nothing to do with spiritual transformation. If you can't go to the only to people who raised you, who preach church, teach church and Bible, but can't recognize the spiritual transformation in their own family when they seen you at your rock bottom, mm-mm. That means the church has fallen. The state of the church has fallen. People are so wrapped up in their own selves that they cannot see the move of God. They cannot recognize true transformation of the Spirit. God is not pleased with religiosity. God is not pleased with the same Sunday after Sunday antics of, "Oh, this is what we do. This is our tradition, and we've been doing it for years and years. And mama and grandmama, they've all been doing this." No, those days are over, you guys. Those days have passed. This is a new season. God is coming to form a new church, a new way of loving people, a new way of seeing people, a new way of restoring people. So if you're not in line, if you're not ready to receive what God is about to do in the earth, just give it up. If you're a person in ministry, if you're a pastor, if you are shepherding God's people and you're secretly leading them into destruction because of what you're doing behind closed doors, God is about to expose you. He is about to expose your mess. He's going to remove you. He's going to replace you with the very ones that you dismissed, the very ones that you gave up on, the very ones that you said had no hope, the very ones that you said were far too gone. Remember that you once had a past. Remember that you still are living in your past. This is a season of freedom and restoration. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? This is a time for revival. This is a time to protest against the enemy. Protest against the shackles that have been keeping you in chains for years and years. What are you going to do? Are you going to choose today to say, "I'm done with all those sinful ways and the things that have held me captive, that have held my mind captive, that have held my heart captive, all those places that I've been unable to escape for years and years and years, the pain that lives in my heart"? How? How can I move on? How can I've been stretched so far. I've been stretched so much that I'm so far from God's presence. How do I get there? How do I get back into the presence of God? How can I get back there? God says, "Look, I'm not far. In your mind, you feel that you've gone so far, but the further that you've gone, the closer that I am, the closer that my hand is on your life, protecting you and holding you, keeping you safe even in your destruction, even in your sinful ways. He says, I'm holding you, but I need you to know that in that stretching, as the enemy has stretched you back, you're at a point of breaking. You're at a point where you say, I can't take it no more. I can't contain this no more. God, I submit. I give it all to you. He says, and then when you give it all to him, he will cut that string, that stretch that's on that bow. You, my beloved, are the arrow. And as God cuts that string, you will be shot and propelled into purpose. You will be propelled into destiny. You will be propelled into what matters. And you say, what matters? What matters in this world is what you are going to do with what God placed inside of you. Your purpose, your gifts, your skills, your abilities. We live in a fallen world. So, unfortunately, the messages of God are going to fall on deaf ears around the globe, and there's nothing that we could do about that. That's been happening for years and years and thousands of years. That's been going on since the fall of man. And so we're dealing with spiritual warfare. We're dealing with the demonic affliction of darkness in this earth, rampant like never before, and trying to battle flesh. Trying to battle flesh or trying to battle spirit through your flesh is unattainable. That's something that you'll never be able to do because you're always going to fail. How am I going to fail, you say? Because you're operating, trying to access something that you're unable to access because you're operating in unbelief. You don't believe even yourself that God could do it, that God could change you, that he could restore you, that he could produce a miracle in your life, because you're locked into the chains. You're locked into the chains of your experience. You're locked into the chains of your past. You're locked into the chains of defeat. God says, I'm going to free you of those chains. We're in a season of constant change. So if you're someone who wants to control everything, then God says you're not going to be able to move forward in what I have for you, because you're going to fall back, because you're going to be so overwhelmed by the change that you're not going to be able to keep up. Open your mind, open your heart, open your spirit. Allow God to change your spirit, renew your spirit, give you a right spirit. God will do it. When I tell you that, God is not a respecter of person. God took me out of a crack house 3 years ago. He transformed my life. I was one of the worst people, but I was also a great person. I've worked in nursing homes. I've cared for elderly people in hospice until they passed away, while I was right at their bedside praying, singing over them. But I also had a serious addiction to drugs and the world and sin and self-gratification. But God restored all of those things. But he restored all of those things for a purpose. I went through all of those things for a purpose. I went through all of those things so I could record these videos and to tell you that he's not a respecter of person, that if he did it for me, that he will do it for you. That's why he is here. That's why he sends people like me. That's to give these messages. But are they falling on deaf ears? Are you hearing the messages? Are you hearing the messages that God is receiving? When I tell you that in 132 days, I can count on one hand the amount of people that have truly showed me support by way of truly just reaching out, saying like, "Hey, I could. What can I do to help with global revival?" Here, I don't have much, but here's a seed, to sow. When God has given me messages and told me to put my Cash App tag, every time I'm like, God, I don't want to put this on there because I don't want them to think that it's about money. Um, he says, no, put it there because I want people an opportunity to sow into this great harvest. And I'm just like, oh God, I put it any, I put it there anyway. Then no seeds come in. I'm like, Lord, like, why'd you tell me to put that? And like, there's nothing happening. And he says, it's okay, don't worry. He says, there's going to be seeds coming from the north, east, south, and the west. He was like, because you're going to change the infrastructure of the land. He was like, you're going to put people in homes across the world. He says, you're going to pay for funerals. He's telling me all these things that I'm going to do. And I'm just like, Lord, but right now I don't have no money. Like, I can't even like go buy food. Like, what do you mean? But he says, but it's okay. Everything that I'm telling you to do is going to work out. It's all for the journey. It's for the story. It's painting a picture. He says, you've only been in obscurity. He was like, he says, you've been in the oven. He says, but now I'm taking you out the oven and I'm presenting you to the world. He told me months ago that my time for public reveal was coming faster than I had time to prepare for. I've been in preparation for 132 days for such a time as this. All over the world, you see CNN, you see all these places, people speaking, and they're saying, well, we're the faith leaders at, we're the people that are hearing from God about this. And I'm like, I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm sending you guys messages, but nobody's responding. I'm like, I don't know if it's the algorithm. I don't know what it is, but I'm doing what God is telling me to do. But God says, it's okay. It's not you. It's not you. He says, your message is your message. I've given you your message. Your message is my heart. I said, God, but what? He says, just keep doing what I tell you to do, and they will see. He says, I'm stirring up the pot right now. He says, when I pour it out, he says, you're going to receive a blessing that you don't have room enough to receive. He said, I'm about to place that table in front of you in the presence of your enemies. Is going to be so amazing. And I have to believe that everything that he has shown me is going to come to pass, because everything, the small things have come to pass. The small things that he's told me to do and that I did have come to pass. And so I know that the big picture and the everything that he's shown me is coming to pass. He told me that I would go to 40 countries in the next year for global revival. I don't even know 40 countries. The Lord gave me strategically the 40 countries. Now, out of the 40 countries, at least 25 of them are in civil unrest or protest for Black Lives Matter. Come on. This is not a mistake. God has designed and planned me strategically from the foundation of the earth for 2020, for my coming out party to the world as God's prophet to the nations. So, folks, look, this is just the beginning. I don't know what God is doing in my life, except that he's doing his thing. And I'm just along for the ride. I'm trying to pull you guys along for the ride to establish hope, peace, and love in your heart that overflows like never before. I can't explain this. I don't want to explain it. I want you to feel it. I want you to know that God's love is true, that no matter what you have been through, no matter what you have done, there is no sin, there's no mistake too bad that God is gonna say that, oh, I don't love you no more. He created you, so he loves you. His Father, the love of the Father that overflows, that abounds in your heart when you just give your life over to him. It is something that will change your life forever. So please pray with me, believe with me, support me, stand with me. Know that I'm only walking in the spirit of the living God. So once again, if you guys want an opportunity to sow into global revival, into the harvest, that is about to come flooding into this earth, please do at hashtag Global Revival 2020, and or through PayPal at imdeckspeaks at gmail.com. And so this is the journey. This is the call, the mantle that I have on my life. And so the entire story, my journey, the videos of Global Revival to Georgia is all on my website at imdeckspeaks.com. So if you haven't been to the website, please go to the website, share it with somebody. God has healed me of cancer. He has delivered me from morbid obesity and food addiction, from pill addiction, from Suboxone, from, oh my God, I could just go down the list, but there's redemption and grace in the name of Jesus Christ if you just submit and give it all to God. So make your next choice your best choice, and know that He's already chosen you. So find your purpose in God and make today the best day of the rest of your life. This is Prophet E. I love you all. Peace.